just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the DMP. And I am so excited to let everyone know Monday, 6 p.m, the OG drop is happening. That is right. OG coloured spray jackets, limited edition. Once these spray jackets are gone, we aren't doing spray jackets for a whole nother year minimum. And the OG bloke shirts, the brown and the orange, but it's the upgraded cut and material, way higher quality. That's Monday, 6 p.m. Make sure to be there, guys, because they are going to fly just like the green and gold spray jackets did. But yeah, this will be essentially the end of any of the spray jacket kind of drops for a whole nother year if we do spray jackets again. That was actually a one-off just to see how they went with the green and gold. People absolutely loved them. So make sure Monday, 6 p.m. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We literally never say that, which is really fucking stupid. Could you imagine if we said it for the last fucking 5 years, how much bigger we'd be? But we don't, because we're idiots. And also, leave a nice review on Apple or Spotify. That's something else that also would have helped us a lot. Would really appreciate it. It'd be awesome. And also, head over to Hello Sport. Give them a like and subscribe. Leave a positive review on their podcast. I've got the great Eddy here. Tom, weak as guts.
Well, Tom, he's not made of the right stuff, mate. We've been over this many times. We had a big weekend in Perth.
Yep.
You could argue too big, potentially.
Not for you, though.
Not for me. I took my good day. He didn't take his. He literally didn't.
Makes sense.
He literally didn't. And he's paying a heavy toll for it.
He literally didn't. That's hilarious.
He actually didn't.
That is actually
hilarious.
fucking hilarious.
And you might be like, bullshit, you're talking shit. I'm being 100% serious.
And
like,
you only had
hook me
enough
up
for
to a
you.
lighter tester.
And you only had a few for you.
Well, I didn't know he didn't. We were in separate rooms, first time ever, which was lovely.
Moving up in the world.
And I looked after myself, and he looked after himself, except he didn't. He didn't look after himself.
Tell you what. You get what you
He
deserve.
only remarked on Monday when he was fucked. He was like, mate, I didn't take my good day a weekend. I'm like, well, not my problem.
When you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail.
Well, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Socrates said that.
He said that. And he's a big Tom guy, Socrates.
Socrates, big Tom guy.
Because that's what he's speaking to.
Big Tom. Well-
Blokes like Tom that's like, mate, I'm giving you a bit of fucking knowledge and you refuse to listen. I've been around for thousands of years, even though I'm dead, and you still won't take my advice on board.
Well, I mean, like, what, does Tom know better than Socrates? Is that what?
Sounds like it.
That's what he's implying.
Yeah. If he didn't, he wouldn't be sick.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
If you just listen to Socrates, punters and dribblers, and Socrates is telling you to buy Good Day, begoodhealth.com.au, okay, code dribblers. Wow. Ward off sickness.
I had mine just before, mixed it in with my protein drink. You get the protein drink that I get, it mixes in with water really well. So you can mix the Good Day in and it tastes absolutely fantastic. Bit of creatine, a bit of Good Day, a bit of protein. That's a way to start your day.
Mate, you're laughing.
Absolutely laughing.
You're fucking giggling.
How was the week, mate? Perth. I actually like Perth.
I like Perth.
Yeah.
I can enjoy myself in Perth.
Yeah.
Not too busy, not too big.
Sunday was like walking to the fights. You're going, am I at like the wrong city? Am I in the wrong city for the fights? Although the build-up's been here, did they move it to a different city?
Like we were walking there, and I was like, "Fuck, I wouldn't mind a fee before we get there."
Oh.
I'm like, I remember there was a Subway around the corner. I walked past that. Closed Sunday.
No,
Sunday. No, we don't. I'm like, is this Dubbo in the 90s? Where the fuck am I?
Mate, you know what else is similar like that? Zurich, over in Switzerland, the capital of Switzerland. Can you please check that?
Big European guy.
Big Euro guy.
Very cultured.
We went there and is it?
Switzerland.
Yeah. And so we went there and we basically had 2 days there. But the first day you get there, it's a write-off usually. Like you go have a little gander, but you get back home, you're tired, you travel.
It's a write-off.
But the Sunday, nothing, like when I say nothing's open, it's not like Perth where most things aren't open. Nothing is open on a Sunday in Zurich.
So you just like, you got to stay at home.
You pretty much just got to walk around and the only things that are open are like chains, like American chains pretty much that are spitting on their culture pretty. But so Perth, Zurich, very similar. Zurich also, isn't that supposed to be where all the cash is? That's what I was surprised. Like, isn't that like businessy? Very business.
Cash in Switzerland.
Yeah, like Zurich, all the rich people go and live there.
Well, isn't it like Swiss banks?
Yeah, that's what I. So,
you go dump your cash there and no one asks any questions.
But then they're like, well, why aren't you open on a Sunday? Is it because you're all bender on a Saturday using all your company's money?
It's a great point. I've come to expect like around the clock care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're not open all the time, then you've got a problem. I've got a problem.
I've come to expect society working themselves into their graves to support what I want to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, look, our Western society, we got it right. Like, let's not let anyone live and enjoy life. Let them work.
Yeah, for my convenience.
So I can get shit when I want it.
That's right.
And then when they're lying in bed, they can be like, thank God I was open. in 1995, when Denon was just a little whippersnapper in the convenience store. Thank God I was open for him.
Exactly right. Like, imagine in 50 years' time on your deathbed, like, been saying, thank God I was open on that Sunday before UFC 305 so I could serve Edward probably maybe a chicken teriyaki 6 foot. You know what I mean?
6 foot. You're not going.
I don't think I could.
6 inch. Sorry, not 6 foot.
6 inch. Shit, 6 foot.
Holy fuck! You're hungry.
I probably wouldn't have got a foot long. No, I was in a mood for just something quick and easy.
Just to absorb maybe what you drank last night.
That's exactly right. That's all I wanted.
Okay.
And I was denied it. But Perth, a beautiful place.
Yep.
That RAC arena is a doozy.
Rack Arena.
Rack.
As soon as I saw it, I said, "Oh, that's a bit on the nose."
One of your best, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
One of your best.
That came to me like literally.
Fuck, you're good.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No wonder you fucking got to where you got. Hey? Rolling that sort of gold out. But
Listen,
don't you think it's a ripper?
It's mad. It is actually a sick arena, and I'll tell you what. UFC do it really well. Like boxing events are good,
mate.
UFC,
they're not the same thing.
The roll on, because the problem with boxing is like for 3 of the fights, you really don't know. And I get it. Like it's different promotions. UFC have the benefit of almost being a monopoly because they are. So they have like all the best fighters. But the show just rolls on. You're getting videos of who's about to fight. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just a really and
it's
granted,
slick.
It's slick, but. Obviously, that's going to happen because they are huge. Whereas, like your boxing, usually like the top 2 fights are the ones that you're there for. And don't get me wrong, some of the local scraps in boxing, when you've got a plumber versus an up and comer, that's the best shit you can watch in Australia.
Yeah.
But UFC, they do move, and it's slick. It's slick.
They do a great job, and you're right. Like they build so nicely.
Yeah.
Like. The production's incredible, but like in between fights, the video packages are just building up. The music's building up. It's fucking. The lighting's amazing.
I tell you, here's a good example. So the Saudis have gotten into boxing.
Yep.
And the Riyadh citizens or something like that, bro. Their cards go for like 6 hours, and you're just going. Bro, I started watching.
It's like fucking 2 a.m. there when they finish, and
100%.
no one's drinking. People are like dead in their seats.
And also for me watching, I started watching this at 10 a.m. on a Sunday, and it's literally 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm watching more dead air and pundits literally repeating what they said 2 hours ago over and over and over. Whereas UFC, slick, quick, good, always mostly finishes.
Probably 15 minutes in between fights, I'd say.
If that, honestly.
Like from the end of the start?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, 15's probably right. Yeah, like it's from the interviews, everything, boom, out.
Yep.
But before you know it, you go get your drinks. By the time you're back, the next bloke's walking out.
100%.
So good.
Just runs so well, so smoothly. They've got it like it's just a well-oiled machine.
You know what? I was torn. First I was majorly torn with the co-main because Ersurg's such a good bloke and also he's Aussie. So I was going for Ersurg because he's Australian. But Kai Kara Fancy is such a good bloke too.
Such a good bloke.
And so I was like, shit, he was hurting. I was like, but I'm Aussie, so I'm going Ersurg. So that hurt. But at the same time, I was like, oh, but Kara, you're actually a fucking legend too.
Mate, it was actually a good card. Some sick fights on there, dude. Some sick fights. Dan Hooker's a absolute sicko.
Screwless.
Sicko.
Like, genuine screwless. When he was in the corner going, oh, fuck, he looked like the Joker. I fucking love this shit. And he's got blood coming, his eyes can't open.
I know.
Oh, my God.
Mad as a cut snake.
Absolutely. Absolute legend too. I was surprised at how much Duplessis is the villain. I like Duplessis. I think he's hilarious.
Well, I just think that there was like it must have been a very pro-Kiwi crowd there.
But even online, DDP is like a villain. I've always liked him.
I think that his comments around Israel were misconstrued.
Yeah,
and like it became about race where I don't think that was ever his intention.
I don't think he intended to do that, and I think
all he was saying was, "I'm the only African champion currently living in Africa." Here. That's all it was.
Yeah, and you'd have pride in the fact that you're training from there. So, and also the fact that they made up at the end, and he explained. I think he did.
He even apologized. He goes, "Never my intention.
It's not my intention." That's what you know. What that's what I do love is when you see two blokes bash each other.
Yep.
And then they hug after, and you're like, "Yeah, that's why we're here."
Beautiful moments.
We're here for hugging after.
Beautiful moments. Bit of a hug, bit of a kiss, bit of a bum tap.
Exchanging of jackets. He gave him a jacket. So Perth was great.
When he walked out,
thanks to UFC.
Thanks to UFC. But when he walked out with that South African flag and like behind the Springboks,
that's scary. Did you see the video of them celebrating? And the security guards were shitting themselves.
I'm like, he's not going to lose, I don't think.
You don't lose. When you got a Bok behind you,
Dosbach.
You got Dos Bock behind you. You're not losing.
Nah. And you got the South African flag. You come out of the anthem.
And then also, once you win, you actually are pictured on Instagram in a South African G-string. You know, the mankini?
Yep.
He literally is drinking beer in a mankini that's South African.
There you go.
How are you beating a bloke that's doing that?
You're not.
You've got a Bock behind you, and you got in your training bag, in preparation for a victory, you've got a mankini that's your flag.
Yeah, you're not beating that.
That's a madman.
You don't pack a mankini unless you know you're going to win.
Yeah. Can you imagine
you know
packing
what I mean?
a mankini and losing?
No, it's never happened. It's never happened. Couldn't have.
They should have checked his bag. No, they usually check gloves and that. They should have checked his bag and said, you know what, you've got a mankini, I'm out here.
It couldn't have happened. There's just no way.
Oh, you know what, Matty, I'll send you the picture. I hope it's still around because it was on a story where it disappears. But yeah, so there's video of the box celebrating, bro, and you can tell the security guys going, stop. You know, those ones like so the camera looks like he's actually saying stop, but really he's like, stop.
Yeah. He's whispering it.
Please don't.
Yeah, he's whispering it.
Because they're just going, fuck, 6'7", fucking massive giant.
It's the best, like one of the biggest humans on the planet. It's like 7 foot. And he's hard as fuck, dude.
You know what? South Africa did come and pound us on the weekend.
Such hard men. We went to the rugby union on the weekend as well. It was raining, right? And every single South African on the bench is just sitting out in the rain. No umbrellas, no jackets, just copping it. And then our boys, with all due respect to them,
rugged up,
nice like defender seats, like huge big jackets. I'm like, this is boys and men stuff.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, look at those fucking hard men over there.
Yeah, they did literally come to our country, raid our country, take dubs, and say fucking see you later.
Yeah, big dubs.
Dubbed up against us in the union, took
with their B-side.
With their B-side. Took Bam Bam Tuivasa-'s money. DDP did, because he bet $500 Wallabies would win. And then DDP comes in, takes an Anzac, because obviously Israel's Kiwi, Anzac, takes the dub off him, and then bounces.
Yeah. It's just 1-0
to South Africa.
Huge weekend.
But we fucking towed you up in the Olympics, so.
Get that up, yeah.
How many medals did you win?
Did you get 18? No, you didn't. Did you get any? Did I get any?
You know what? Yes, you did get the win, because we were so focused on winning fucking golds.
We're a gold nation.
So we're a gold nation. You have that little dub against our union side that's rebuilding.
Exactly right.
On a rebuild. We'll take a few.
We're on a rebuild. We're on a rebuild.
Yeah.
We're on a rebuild.
You got your B side. We got a rebuild side.
Yeah. I mean, great. You've won back-to-back World Cups. Like, that's cool. You know what I mean? But,
First team ever
but are you rebuilding?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Did you just have to deal with Eddie Jones coming in and fucking completely?
Did you have to deal with like someone coming in and just being an absolute traitorous bastard and fucking crippling the nation?
Speaking of traitorous bastards, I'm not even going to say his name because I don't know it. But
old mate,
we'll just call him fucking old mate. He's old mate. The cyclist that suckles on the teat of Australia.
Of the nation
for his whole upbringing.
Yep.
Goes over, wins medals. You know what? I don't care about those medals now. I don't care about them. Goes over, wins medals within a couple weeks. Like he doesn't wait a month, 2 months. Gets back to Australia and goes, you know what? I'm going over to Great Britain because they have more funding. And you know, his manager then comes out and says, yeah, he didn't want to say anything for the last 6 months because it might have affected his selection on the Australian side. Yeah, no shit, it might have affected his selection.
Read the room, bro. You come out with that information the moment you get back? Why?
Bruh.
Why'd you do that?
Why not at least wait a little bit?
Why wouldn't you wait a couple of years, mate? Why wouldn't you wait a couple of months?
Why not just sneak off? Just sneak off, go out the back door.
Also, you don't need to tell us.
Yeah, smoke bomb, boom.
No one knows who the fuck you are. You know what I mean? Well, no one knows your name. Well, look, all I know is that you're a traitor. That's all I know.
Look, Trader Joe's, that's where he shops.
You come in, you fucking, you take all the funding from the great nation, all the support, all the training, all the know-how.
Some young cyclists could have used that tip.
Exactly. You go, you win medals, and then you come back and you make a big song and dance. 22nd of August, fucking 10 days after the Olympics.
Well, not even that, because he did it like a week ago.
2 days after the Olympics, I want to go, like, what
pretty
are you doing?
He announced it at the closing ceremony, pretty much. Got up on the stage and said,
are you, like, he's almost like he's going out of his way to be hated.
And then he came back.
You know what I mean?
And then he come out and he said another statement where, like, you know, I've made my decision, you know, I don't care what anyone thinks or whatever. Something along those lines. It's like, well, you clearly do care, because otherwise you wouldn't have made a fucking statement.
Of course you care.
You care. Because if you didn't, you just go. Hey, bruh, you know how many parties I've smoke bombed and no one knew I was gone? That's what you should have done with this whole cycling thing.
Smoke bomb.
Smoke bomber.
No one knows who you are. No one can spot you in a lineup. You just turn up in Great Britain. No one knows.
Boom.
No one knows.
No one knows. You're gone. Yeah, you won some medals for the country. But you know what? I'd
But like,
rather...
if Jess Fox did it right, you'd know. You'd know about it.
Exactly. Because she
Ariane
gets it.
Titmush, you know. You could smoke bomb. You
Easy.
are...
Jess Fox, Ariana, life of the party. This
Yep.
bloke, weird guy, stands in corner.
Yeah, no one knows him.
No one knows him. Didn't know you were there. See you, bros.
Exactly right. No one noticed you when you were there. No one notices you when you leave. That's all you need to do. Just fuck off. Okay?
I've done it many a times. No one gives a shit that I left. And just like you, should have gone. I cannot believe it. I cannot, bruh.
The fucking stones on the man.
Audacity. Because I would rather send the worst cyclist in history over there that loves his nation than the best that hates the nation.
Yep. Read the room, bro.
Oh, my God. That stung so much.
Read the room.
What do you mean?
It looks like he's going to be banned from any international events for 2 years.
What?
Yeah, which
What's
is...
for being a fucking dog?
Turncoat?
Yeah.
Is that the dog?
The dog
Act
clause.
2.5?
Is there a dog clause?
There's a dog clause.
I didn't
It's
know
the Dog
that.
Act. It got introduced about 1965, the Dog Act.
Yeah, so there's like a little grace period, but apparently Cycling Australia or whoever the governing body are can have can enforce a 2-year non-competition period. So they're pushing for that at the moment. So it's not locked in, but that's what they're pushing for.
Dog clause. I'm a big fan of it.
I love the dog clause.
If you're going to be a mutt, you get punished.
Unbelievable. And the fact that his manager came out, could you get the quote up, please, and said that he'd been thinking about it for 6 months, but it didn't want to affect his selection for the Australian.
Duh.
That's the point. That's why everyone's pissed, bro.
You would have been dropped, mate.
Oh, man.
Of course you would have been dropped. There's no place in the side for turncoats.
And you know what's crazy is let's say in a year or two he had done it, I still would have been off him, but I would have copped it a little bit better because I've been, you know what, you did your thing at the Olympics. It's been a couple years. You've made the decision, but it's the fact that you knew whilst you were in the great green and gold.
Yep.
In the back of your mind, you knew you were going to do this. That's what hurts me the most.
Yeah, it's disgraceful.
That's what hurts me the most. If you had gone over there and loved the nation and then waited a year or two and said, you know what, I want more funding. I'm actually born there. My missus is from there. I go, yeah, okay. Look,
Sure.
I don't agree with it. Fair enough. But it's the audacity to announce it with 10 days, literally returning to the nation. Should got, you know what, they should have banned his passport.
Well, he shouldn't. He should be sent over there and ripped up his Aussie passport. You can't come back. That's what I think.
I think so too.
Cut him loose.
Cut him loose. Say, mate, you don't get to suckle at the teat no more.
You don't get to. Well, listen. If you want to disrespect the greatest nation of all, then there's consequences to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get punished for that.
What do you got there, Matty?
I haven't found the exact quote, but there's articles everywhere. Apparently, it's very Eddie Jones. He was doing sneaky little meetings as early as February this year.
What?
Oh, that's very Eddie Jones.
Oh my God.
That's very Eddy Jones.
Oh no.
And then probably denying it as well. Eddie Jones when he was
Well-
like, I'm not taking meetings with Japan. It's like, why is everyone talking about the fact you are? People don't make that shit up.
This is the quote, but again, it's from the 28-year-old male, so I don't know whether it's he's taking the piss or not. But it's been in the works for 6 months, but he didn't want anyone to find out and have it affecting qualifying for Australia. But he wants to represent England with their superior funding. Some bloke speaking for the prick that cheated Australia. I don't know if that's actually the actual quote.
Well, you're going to lose your shit when you hear this quote. This is from him. I was out in Hong Kong with Australia, but sneaking off to have a secret little meeting and then going back. It's the only way I could do it. I had to keep it that way in case of possible deselection or something like that.
This guy's a mutt.
He's actually a double agent spy.
What an absolute disgrace. I'd also, if I'm Great Britain, I'm like, we're not having you either because your morals are not where they need
you
to be.
just turncoated on apparently our allies. Aren't we supposed to be bloody allies?
I'd be like, you can't be trusted. You can't be trusted at all.
That is gross.
Jesus
all
Christ.
jokes aside, that's gross.
It's gross.
That is actually
it's one of the
gross.
rankest things I've ever heard.
Oh my
from a sporting
God.
context, like absolutely outrageous.
And look, life's changed, things change. Like as I said, if it was a year or two, although I wouldn't like it, I'd be like, you know what, things happen. Everyone's life changes. Everyone's situations changes. Maybe he has a missus, whatever, kids, and he wants to go back home and be with his family, because he was born in England.
Yeah.
That's where I'd be like, you know what, okay, all right, that's all good. But to this
outrageous.
the actual sneaking out like you're a 15-year-old with a girlfriend,
It's outrageous.
climbing out the window of Australian cycling. Jeez Louise.
Absolutely outrageous.
Tell you what's not outrageous though, Eddie.
What's that, man?
Ron Coote named as a 14th.
Oh, Ronnie
He
Coote.
loves his country.
Fucking oath he
He
does.
fucking loves his country.
Ronnie Coote loves his country.
Fucking oath he
He was
does.
in tears last night, Ronnie Coote.
Oh, mate. In tears. He said, I didn't think I'd cry at 80 years old. That's how much he loves his like, rugby league and nation.
He loves his nation. He loves his rugby league football.
4 premierships at South, 2 premierships at the Roosters, 9 grand finals. That is hectic. 6 premierships, 9 grand finals.
And those 9 grand finals came in an 11-year window.
What? And he clearly took success with him because he like went from one team to the other. 24 games for Australia, 257 first grade games where you could literally kill guys on the field.
Yep.
You could get away with killing people.
That's a fuckload of first grade games back then. Jesus
You got a lot of
Christ.
murderers running around pretty much.
That's outrageous.
148 for South, 109 for the Roosters. I reckon what's happening here is obviously deserved when you look at that. Incredible. I obviously didn't watch him play, so I can't judge from that. But from that resume and everything you hear from people that did watch him play, but what I like about this is, and we spoke about it in the green room, is I feel like this is almost a resetting where we're going, okay, let's get the proper people in and then build from there. And I think that the old administration, although we all agree, well, I think we all agree, Joey, Mal, all those guys should be immortals. They probably like jumped the gun a little bit.
Yep.
And I reckon that what they've done here is they've gone, let's just reset, get everything back on the rails and do everything in order going forward.
Yeah, instead of bouncing around, because like when they fucking put Joey in, he wasn't that far retired.
Wasn't that
really.
far retired, and you know he's going to get in. Just a matter of time. It's like Cam Smith. You know he's going to get in.
I prefer it. I prefer this way.
100%.
You got to wait.
Yeah.
You got to wait. You know what I mean? It should be minimum 10 years, 15 years out of the game before you should be.
Which is weird. They changed it. Like it used to be 5 years, and then recently they changed it to like 3.5, 3 or something like that.
Yeah, but we've. If there's anything we can glean from these rules they put in, they mean absolutely fuck all.
That's literally the.
Was
the
it
most
right? We were
can
saying
glean.
5 years ago they said there's going to be an immortal every 2 years,
Which is too much.
and I'm like, hang on, what?
An immortal every 2 years is way too much.
Every 2 years?
Yeah. For 5 years. It should be every 5 years or 10 years even.
It's fucking absolute madness.
I reckon.
It should be one from every generation.
I reckon.
Or 2 max.
2 max, I reckon. I think when we spoke about this, I reckon the next one you go Kenny, Freddie, and then you go Lockie Smith. As in Kenny, Freddie the next one.
Yep.
Lockie Smith the next one.
I think people would be happy with that. I think people would go, yeah, sweet.
I reckon that'd be a fair shake. And look, granted, only people watching would be like have other like opinions of who they want, like maybe Alfie Langer or so. You know, even fucking Alfie as well. Jeez, when you look at Alfie's resume, and also his impact in the game, like being a little fella in the halves as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Alfie in there, but I do think that I like that it looks like we've gone back on the rails. Go in order chronologically. Let's go chronologically. Let's not jump all over the place.
Like if Smith got in last night, you would have gone, yeah, I get it. I get that he should be immortal, but it wouldn't have sat right with me.
Well,
like the guy just fucking retired yesterday. Like, let's just chill out a bit.
And also, like, you know, it'd be awesome for Smithy to get it, but like we all know he's going to get it. You know, so if he
What's the rush?
Yeah, exactly. If he had got it last night, then it's like, well, then you can't. Why would you put Kenny, Freddie, Coote, Alfie? Like you're basically erasing them, unless you go, oh, we're going to put Smithy in now, but then we're going to put in Kenny in a 5 year. You know, it'd just be weird. So I like that they've kind of reset the board.
Do you like that they just sort of call these things on whenever they want, or would you like more structure?
I would like more structure. I reckon like once every 5 years would be a good amount.
Because it's all over the map.
It is. It really is all over the map. Probably, once every 5 years, I reckon. Oh, but then, once every 5 years, because you'd go, okay, let's just assume, let's go Kenny and Freddie in the next one.
Yep.
So that'd be 2029. 2029.
Yep.
And then 2034 would be Lockie and Smith.
Yep.
And so I'm just trying to think of this next.
I'm happy with that.
And then, so that by that time, so when do you reckon Cleary will retire, like Nathan Cleary? I'm just using him as, of this generation, he's the most likely.
Yep.
He would retire probably 2030, 31.
Well, how old is he now? 26?
26.
So say he retires in 2030.
32, 33.
33, yeah.
So then another 5. Yeah, so then he could go at around the 2000. He could be the next immortal around if he is 2037 or whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I reckon every 5 years. Every 5 years, I reckon that makes sense.
How long ago was the last one? The last induction?
2018.
round?
2018.
Also 5. Oh no, that's what's
6
that?
years.
6 years.
Okay.
But it's funny how you say the rules are all over the place. So when they did the 2018 announcement, they were like, all right, this is what we're doing. 1 to 2 Immortals will be added every 4 years. They must have been retired for 5 years. So, like, they haven't even continued their own rule, like, after one ceremony.
In their defence, it is a whole new administration, I think, from when that was made. I'm not saying that it's like we shouldn't stick to rules that were made by old administrations.
Yep.
But I think that maybe they're looking at like going, you know what, we don't agree with that. Let's rejig it.
Yeah.
Interesting as well that they changed the eligibility from 5 years to 3.
That's
which
interesting.
which seemed completely unnecessary.
Yeah, and it felt like because they did that, were they doing that to try and get Cam Smith in?
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, and then they didn't.
And then it didn't anyway. So it's like, what the fuck was the point of that?
The good thing is though, I think they got it right.
Same.
I agree.
think they got it right. And
Mate, when you see old Ronnie Coote up there at 80 crying, you're like, yeah, I get it.
I get it.
And everyone like that knows knows him as a player seems to be frothing. They're all in, singing in unison.
And I like the fact that it's reset the board.
Yeah. Can I give you some numbers on Ronnie Coote? So like my whole family go for South, and my pop and dad always talk about Ronnie Coote.
Yep.
And so he won a comp with South in 67, 68, 70 and 71. Mm-hmm. And that was just after St. George had their big period. So it's been St. George and South. Roosters hadn't won in like 30 years. They'd won 3 or 4 wooden spoons. He goes to the Roosters. They come second the first year he's there. And then they go back-to-back in 74 and 75. In the 75 year, South get the wooden spoon after winning the comp 4 years earlier. So that just, like, if you think South and Roosters rivalry is big now, apparently back then, like, he pretty much started the book of feuds.
Really?
No way.
Yeah. So there's stories of, like, people had a pet rabbit named after him and they killed it when he went to the Roosters.
What?
Yeah. There was apparently a gypsy called him and put a lifetime spell on of bad luck on him.
Not the spell.
Yeah, the book of feuds
Didn't do shit.
Yeah,
so nearly robbed him of an immortal. He's had to try for an immortal 3 times. Maybe that was a bloody
maybe.
Or
gypsy
5. Was
spell.
it 3 or 5? I think it's 5.
I think it could be his fifth.
Maybe the gypsy
Yeah.
spell only just wore off in 2024.
Wow.
So obviously, and I think it's the only thing South and Roosters fans, not my generation obviously, but above me, agree on is that Ron Coote's an absolute legend. But apparently it was just bitter back in the day and it ignited the whole rivalry, which is cool. Cool bit of history.
That is interesting. You know, it's so when you look back in history and you almost see these like people as like separate from you, but they grew up and went through the same things you went through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they loved their footy back then, but it's just so foreign to you. You just kind of like, oh yeah, that's kind of like they were different, but they weren't. They just fucking loved their footy.
100%.
Got around it.
Do you reckon Ronnie Coote got a Ronnie Coote last night?
Look, I didn't want to say it. I don't want to get it uncouth in such a couth conversation. But I will say he has gifted us with some slang that will never die.
No, never die.
It'll never die. It'll literally never die.
There'd be like people be saying Ronnie Coote, do you get a Ronnie Coote? And they don't even know the fuck Ronnie Coote is.
No idea. Which is quite special.
It's very special.
You know, I would be quite proud as a man if my name lived on that long for that.
Mate, that's a legacy.
Yeah.
You want to talk legacy?
Did you get a
legacy.
Eddie Bimpson? Did you get a just trying to think of something that like rhymes with. Did you get a Eddy?
Did you get an Eddy?
That's the new guys. Let's start.
Did you get a Den and Kemp last summer?
That will immediately make you go flustered. If you
Yeah.
said, did you get a Den and Kemp? They're like, did you get an Eddy last night? That's the new slang, guys. Did you get an Eddy last?
Thanks,
You know
mate.
what Eddies? You know what Eddies is?
What?
There's a game called Cyberpunk, and Eddy is the name of the currency in the game.
You pay for shit with Eddy?
Eddies. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you Google that? I'm pretty sure, but can you Google that?
So I'm living on.
Cyberpunk currency.
I'm living on.
You're living on, baby. You're a neckbeard. You underneath it all, like you try to project onto me, calling me a neckbeard. But
I live on in the world of the neckbeards.
could you imagine if this whole time you were a secret neckbeard?
Maybe I am.
Undercover. You're like the cycler, undercover neckbeard.
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not.
But yeah, Cyberpunk, great game. But yeah, congratulations, Ronnie Coote.
Good on you,
I
Ron.
like it. I think the NRL did the right thing. And ironically, speaking to Smithy yesterday, even like off air before we got on the show, he was saying, mate, my parents used to love Ron Coote. Like they, so he was backing Ronnie Coote. And he was like, no, if anyone, I reckon Ronnie Coote should get it. So even the great Smithy, who was the favourite, was saying, nah, Ronnie Coote should get it.
Fucking oath, Ron.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Turns out it's not cyberpunk. It's just a slang for the euro dollar.
Eddies.
Yeah, because it's ED, Ed. So it's commonly known as Eddy and Eber.
You live on, bro.
There we go.
Holy shit. Did you
There
get
we
an
go.
Eddy last night?
There you go. Pretty easy, pretty simple.
Don't forget, guys, Jake Clifford is our menu log hungriest player of the week. Use code Clifford for free delivery when you spend $30. That's right. Use code Clifford when you spend $30. And as always, guys, if you're gonna order food to your house, use Menulog because they're a partner of the show. They support us. They help us. They help keep the lights on. And also, you obviously get discounts every single week. So we always really appreciate that from Menulog. That is Clifford for free delivery. Adam O'Brien, it's been reported that Adam O'Brien has a unique clause in his contract that the 2-year extension will be wiped if they finish 13th or worse. His contract goes until 2027, so it would be 2026 and 7 years that could be impacted. Holy shit.
What are they coming?
And the crazy thing is like, when shit like this gets leaked, it gets leaked for a reason.
Yeah.
They're coming 11th at the moment.
So if they come 13th or worse this year, he loses his 26, 27 options.
Yes. I've reported.
What's their run in home? I think their runs home.
They got a good run home,
bad.
but let me just get it up. Give me a sec.
Listen, the Knights have not been...
They've been flaccid.
They've not been great.
Like their attack, their defense actually been pretty good. It's their attack that's been just like... bleh.
They got South this week, and then they got Titans and Dolphins both Sunday afternoon at Hunter Stadium.
And South without Cody Walker.
South no Cody Walker.
So they should.
You'd imagine they're favourites in
2 from 3.
Yeah.
They should go 2 from 3.
Like, what do the Adam O'Brien years look like from a results perspective?
They're actually, compared to what they were before he rolled in, pretty
They're
good.
all right. Yeah, okay.
I think he's made finals every year except for this year. Ooh. Except for maybe one.
I think he's 3
year.
from 5, but let me check.
He's made finals more years than he hasn't, I think.
Definitely, that's right. Yeah.
Which is all right considering where they were.
That's all right. That's okay.
I just think their roster needs an overhaul, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think that like the whole
They just seem a bit flat.
Oh, but of course they are. Like changing your halves every 4 weeks, pretty much.
Literally every 4 weeks.
And look, I understand. Like it's as a coach, it must be hard because like your halves aren't playing that well. But it's just like, well, of course you can't score points. You're not building any combos. I'd love to hear a Knight's opinion on it because I personally think that you just throughout a year, if you can help it, you should only go through maybe 2 to 3 halves pairings. Like let's say you're struggling for connections and you're not going that well, but everyone is not injured.
Yep.
At max, I reckon 2 or 3 combinations. Like probably 2. I would like 2 where you go half the year, unless it's a disaster and you're like at the bottom of the label, like half the year, like you give one halves combination like the first 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep.
The next one, 6 weeks. Look, I get there's outside pressures and I know there's also injuries and everything like that, but the fact that they've got a guy like Jason Hastings, who I know he wasn't playing his best footy, but like he also wasn't playing terribly, and they've got him in New South Wales Cup playing lock. And on the weekend, apparently he ran for like 200 metres. Can you get his stats up? 200 metres, try assists, like multiple try assists, multiple line breaks, like killed it. And like now, all of a sudden, Hastings, they're clearly looking to move Hastings on. Cogger, the guy they brought to the club, he's not even starting. He's playing 14. You got Crossland, the guy that used to be a 7. They made him into a utility, then into a 9. Then off the bench. Now he's back to 7. And Gamble, who was the first bloke to get dropped, I'm pretty sure, he's obviously injured this week. I just don't get it.
It's a mess. It's a complete fucking mess.
And then you go back a couple of years ago, and everyone said, don't put KP to 6. Like, don't do it. It's already been tried. And they put him to 6. It completely ruined their retention. Like, so they put him to 6. So they go and get Lockie Miller. They trade an under-19 front row from New South Wales to get Lockie Miller to the club. Mm-hmm. Lockie Miller comes, plays okay. KP doesn't go well at 6. KP gets moved back to fullback.
Yep.
They release Lockie Miller to the Super League.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden they were desperate for 6 because they thought that it just I personally think it's poor roster management.
But like Adam O'Brien's got something to do with that, right?
I think Adam O'Brien should have said, no, KP, you're not playing 6. Like,
it's not happening.
Like, you're a fullback. And
it was a disaster.
It was a
fucking disaster.
It nearly ended his bloody career.
It was an absolute disaster.
He played lock in New South Wales Cup, 203 metres, 2 line break assists, try assist, 30 tackles, no miss.
Like, what's he doing in reserve grade? Like, I know there must be, Might be more to it.
There has to be more to it.
But like when
There
you're
has to be more
playing
to it.
Crossland and Gamble over him, and also Cogger is number 14.
It's basically like they're saying it's like he just doesn't gel with the side. It just doesn't work. That's what I gleaned from that.
And playing him in the forwards too. So he's not going back to play 7. They're going, we're going to play you in the toughest position on the field, which is outside of the hooker. 13 is the hardest position. We're going to play you there, knowing that you hate it.
Crazy town.
Crazy town.
Yeah, the things need a bit of a spring clean at the Knights, I think.
And
So he took over in 2020, and they hadn't made the finals since 2013. In that time, they got 3 spoons, and he's come seventh in a disaster year in 2022, and then last year, which was a good year, and then now this year.
See, I said this at the start of the year. That the concern about last year, and it's similar to the Broncos, is that a lot of that was based around Kalen Ponga having one of the greatest runs of fucking rugby league we've ever seen in our lives.
Yeah.
And when your wins are based off form like that is like out of this world, it's hard to replicate it. You know, it's really hard to replicate it. And it's the same with Reece. Like he's been up and down this year. He's had some really good games, some not so good games. And what have the Broncos been like? They've had some good games. So when you're basing it around that kind of, it's just really hard to replicate it. Whereas when you look at teams like the Storm, teams like Penrith, like they don't really base their seasons around one guy that's killing it.
Well, Panthers can win without Cleary all the time. Obviously finals is different, but like regular season, not a problem.
Not a problem. And it never gets brought up like, oh no, we're missing this guy. This guy, like they just go about
slot in, do your role, move on.
So I don't know. I will say this: the concerning thing is the fact this is getting leaked now. That's not good. That's not good.
You're getting shit like this leaked in rugby league, your alarm bells.
And if you're Adam O'Brien,
if you're Adam O'Brien, you're going, I'm probably there's a chance I'm about to get sacked.
Yeah, and also if you're Adam O'Brien and the club's telling you, no, we didn't, no, it wasn't us.
Oh, fuck off! Don't listen to the club.
Please don't.
Yeah, well, mate, the chairman will come out and go, just want to guarantee everyone that Adam O'Brien is contracted until the end of 2027, and we have every intention, okay, of letting him see out his contract.
Yeah.
And then we get sacked 2 days later. Oh. That's rugby league.
That's rugby league, baby. So they should obviously finish above 13th though. You'd have to assume because not only do they have a decent draw heading in, but also the teams around them. It's not like the teams around them are playing like red hot footy.
Yeah.
Like they might lose games as well. Whereas up the top, that's where it's a bit harder for things to switch because like you very rarely lose the games of footy.
Yeah.
Like for example, the Storm would have to like essentially lose every game, like 2 games pretty much, and then even then they would still be on even points, wouldn't they? It'd be a points differential. So yeah,
They're two. If Storm lose every game and Panthers win every game, Panthers would jump.
Yeah, Panthers would jump. But even if they lose 2 games, Panthers still need to win every single game.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay.
It's probably
unlikely.
Yeah. So the concerning thing is the fact this is getting leaked, and I guess the question is, look, I understand Adam O'Brien was amazing last year. Like it was so good to watch, and he'd actually been through a lot personally, and such a fan. I guess the question from a fan's perspective is why would you sign Adam O'Brien for 3 years instead of a shorter contract? That is something you could probably question because it's not like, I'd assume it's not like Adam O'Brien would be, like there's not so many coaching jobs that are just ready to go. You know, like the negotiating power from Adam O'Brien's perspective wouldn't probably be that strong.
Mate, 100%. But it seems to happen all the time, these long deals. I'm like, shorten these fuckers up.
Yeah, 2 years, I reckon, like
2-3 max.
If I was in the situation to re-sign Adam O'Brien, I would have gone 2 years with a third option if you hit these. Like if you play finals footy in both years or something,
yep,
the third activates.
Yeah.
Rather than the reverse kind of way they've done it.
100%. Particularly like that. Look at the length of coaches on average. Do you know what I mean? Like it is what it is. Statistically, they don't see out more than sort of 2-3 years. So why would you give these coaches 5-6 years? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Oh man. What at the Broncos giving away a 5-year one?
Exactly.
What?
Exactly.
But I will say, like, I do think Adam O'Brien deserves a good, fair opportunity to head into next year and have a decent crack. I don't think he should be under pressure just yet.
No, not yet.
But I do think that if you get into next year and he's chopping and changing his halves again like that,
yeah,
that's when you go, mate, like,
pack her up.
That's just Too many years in a row for that happening. Roosters re-signing. Roosters re-signed Connor Watson, Hot Pirate, Spencer Leniu until the end of 2027. Great re-signing. How valuable... But think about those blokes before this year. Spencer Leniu, basically seen as a bench forward with incredible impact.
Yep.
But you wouldn't if he went on the market, there would be a lot of clubs that would want him, but he wouldn't be hot property. And Connor Watson, same situation, utility, but it wouldn't be hot property on the market with his age and the injuries or whatever. Fast forward a few months, both players on the open market. Holy shit, it's hot property.
Well, Connor was playing New South Wales Cup at the start of the year, and then last year he was injured.
Crazy.
And now he's fucking won Origin, and is probably the hottest utility
in the game.
In the game right now.
Yeah.
Spencer, scary as fuck, only 23.
Killed it in Origin.
23.
Fuck.
Like an absolute psychopath.
That's so young.
So damaging. Such a damaging footballer.
Yeah.
Mate.
You forget that with Spencer, don't you? That he's 20,
mate,
23.
It's fucked how young he is.
Bloody
it's absolutely insane. I thought he was 27.
Same.
That was just based purely of vibe and vibe alone.
Probably because he's already got his man strength. That's why.
100%. Well, he performs like he's older than that. You know what I mean? So the Roosters just get a couple of gems again.
And also they get them at a time where it's still in the areas of they could say to Spencer and Connor, mate, look at where your careers have gotten to. So when you're negotiating and you come in with a bit of a lower price than what they could get on the open market, and Spencer and Connor, they might go, hang on a sec, I could get this on the open market. The Roosters, and rightly so, could say, guys, look at where your career is right now. There's got to be some give and take here. We've got a great roster. We probably need you to take a little bit less. And they would fairly be able to go, you know what, that's kind of true. I've gone from a bench forward at a really good club, don't get me wrong, to an Origin basically lock for next year. And Connor Watson, same situation. So it hasn't just been all give from Connor and Spencer. The Roosters have also provided things for, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So smart from the Roosters, really, really
very, very smart.
Sam Walker, there are reports from Paul Crawley that Sam Walker won't resign before November 1st, therefore test his value on the open market. Jeez.
When's his contract up? Has he got next year?
Yeah, he can speak to other clubs on November 1 for 26.
That,
for
to
26,
me, him going to the open market, if it is true, that is so surprising. Because surely the Roosters have set aside enough cash to
Does that ever happen at the Roosters?
Never.
That never happens.
And they're Roosters.
Never happens.
Roosters are almost a club that will go, if you do that, we're not interested anymore. If you say to us before November 1st, oh no, I'm going to test my value. Look what happened in the Latrell situation. That's exactly what happened. So so Latrell got offered a contract from the Roosters.
When he was at the Roosters, yeah. It was
and
800 grand or something. It was huge money at the time.
And all he said was I just want to take some time and, just want to take some time and check my value. And also mix that in with the fact that he would never play fullback at the Roosters because Teddy's there and also Joey's there as well. And so all he just said, I just need some time. Basically, from that point on, they just said, not interested, boom, got rid of him.
See you later.
And so that, what's interesting with that, I reckon he resigns before November 1st. Because I can't see the Roosters. They're such a proud club. I don't see them going into the November 1 fighting for Sam Walker. I think that they would be going, nah, mate, you've got to want to be here as much as we want you here.
The problem is there's not that many halves getting around.
But surely, what's the difference between $1 million a year and 1.3? $1 million a year to stay at the Roosters and Uncle Nick?
This is crazy. This is wild.
It's true.
This is wild stuff if true. From the cry of Paul Crawley.
I honestly reckon that...
Most emotional journal of all time.
I reckon the Roosters will say, once November 1st happens, we won't deal with you. That's purely opinion. When do the
I'm
Roosters,
shocked by this. Shocked.
Does the Roosters never get into these battles?
Never. Never.
My thoughts are it's because Walker holds all the cards. His price is only going to go up the further they go into the season. If he gets to a grand final, then it's pretty much name your price.
For sure. So what you're saying is it's not necessarily that it'll go to November 1st.
Yeah.
What he's doing is just saying, look, just give me a few weeks and then I'll make my decision.
Yeah, I think if he re-signs with the Roosters, it'll be before November 1st.
Yep.
And I think it'll be because, all right, he's got what his value is. If he makes a grand final, then I'll match him then.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah, okay.
So you reckon maybe like there's a half truth in what he's reporting, where Sam Walker is saying, I want to wait a few weeks, but he's actually not saying,
he's interpreted that as before November 1, as opposed to I'm just going to wait a little bit.
Yeah,
because I want to get my value up.
Because that's a great point. If he goes into finals footy and kills it, not only is he not, by him saying I want to wait a few weeks, that's a very different statement to the Roosters than I want to go to the open market.
100%.
That's a way different conversation.
100%.
So that makes that's a great shout there, Matty.
Well done, Matthew.
Well done, Matthew.
Thank you.
Well done.
A lot of insight to the Roosters. Like, are you a fan or like what's going on there?
Absolutely not.
I will say Sam Walker on the open market though, as a content fiend.
Lot of cheddar.
A lot of cheddar, but I'm thinking of content. I can talk about that for years.
Oh yeah.
Like that's a pig at a trough, the content trough. I'm a piggy at.
If you're in the content game, you troughed up.
You're troughed up for days.
You're in the content game, you are troughed all the way up.
Like, put it this way. If he goes to the open market, I'll have talked about every single club in the competition.
Trough me up.
I'll be troughed up.
Trough me up.
Okay. KO, all 8 games are live and ad-free during play on KO. Some key games this week. Warriors v Bulldogs, Raiders v Panthers, and Storm v Dolphins, exclusive to Fox League and available on KO. And there's so much more to watch on KO, guys. You can get all the fights on KO, and there's heaps of content. And as always, a massive thank you to KO for sending us across to Perth. Okay, Josh Schuster. There are reports that Schuster's management met with the Rabbitohs management last week. Sources say Wayne is open to the move.
Is this right?
The tough one with this is this a manager trying to get some buzz going around his client?
Because there's not much buzz going
buzz
on.
Is
is
gone.
there?
Buzz Rothfield, none. There's no buzz.
I'm going to use a word. Buzzless.
We don't want buzzless in rugby league. We want a bit of buzz.
And I'm like, listen, I'm not.
Huge buzz guy.
I'm a big buzz guy. I think buzz is the way forward, the way of the future. Buzz and rugby league and buzz, like very important. But the reality is that Josh Schuster has fallen off a proverbial cliff. You know what I mean? Manly still paying not an insignificant amount of his contract every year. So, obviously we've been over this at length. We're going to pay $800,000 and then we're going to sack you like 2 months later. And then we're going to pay you a shitload of money every year. And Josh is just chilling. He's just cruising. He's just doing whatever the fuck he wants. And now maybe looking to play a little bit of rugby league.
Bit of rugby league football.
If you fucking sign him, you sign him for pennies.
For minimum.
For absolute pennies. Because he's already getting topped up anyway. And you go, listen, you can go back to reserve grade, prove yourself. So there you go. That's the only promise you'd be making.
Look, if there were no other clubs putting pressure on it in the fact that, like, let's say there were a few clubs interested, then you'd probably have to bring him into your first grade squad immediately and probably pay him a little bit more than minimum. But let's just say he's out in the wilderness right now and there's not really that much interest. I'd be saying, mate, I want you playing Rezzies. Like, go join a New South Wales Cup side 100%. Now. Like, you don't need to be with a first grade squad right now. You can just get your pay. You can play part-time. I'd be genuinely asking him, mate, if you really love the game, go play New South Wales Cup.
Go prove yourself.
Because you're earning enough money to not have to work.
Yeah.
So it would be basically your job to just play New South Wales Cup. The problem is he has so much talent, there will be multiple clubs that will go, hey, bro, he's a minimum. He's a minnow.
You reckon?
Yeah. 100%.
He's a minnow?
He's a minnow. Because, like, if he even plays 80% of what he can potentially play, that's like a good NRL player. That's how much potential he has. The problem is he's had so many opportunities at Manly. If there's one...
No, I'm aware of his potential. We literally paid him on potential.
Multiple contracts. Too.
Yeah, which is madness in the extreme.
If there is one coach...
It's Wayne.
It's Wayne.
Probably the only coach, you could argue.
I get... Yeah. I'd love
if Wayne can't do it, it can't be done. Put it that way.
I guess the question I have is, like, surely, like, send him down to Melbourne or something. You know what I mean?
But maybe they don't want him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that would involve Craig Ben Keane.
Yeah.
Can I just point out as well, that contract Schuster signed last year hasn't even technically started yet.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Get that to yourself, Matt.
The strange, I tell you what, his manager is the GOAT. Like,
the GOAT.
Like, when you're talking about delivering for your client...
Mate, he's greatest of all time.
Literally
it's not even up for debate. It's not even up for debate.
He got offered a massive extension and he wasn't even making the first grade side.
It's absurd. Absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Oh, look, let's look at this glass half full. Maybe he did need some time away from rugby league. Like maybe there were a lot of personal things going on in his personal life, his family life. He needed to go and take care of his... The key that I'd be... Look, let's say I'm a club and I want Josh Schuster. The things I'd be asking would be, why didn't it work at other clubs? And if the answer was, I had a lot of personal stuff going on, and then I'd obviously say, well, what was the personal stuff? And, blah, blah, blah. Then I would ask, what steps have you taken to fix that? Like... If it was something bad happening in the family, like have you taken care of that trauma or whatever it was, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And if he hadn't, I would be like, well, until you are the one to decide to take the steps to fix whatever is stopping you from being the best you can be. How am I going to do it? I can't force you to do it. It has to be a choice that you make.
Yep, for sure.
Now, if Schuster has gone away off his own bat and worked on all the things internally and mentally, and his mental health is in a really strong space, then that is exciting because you said, mate, off your own bat, you've gone and sorted the problem yourself. That says to me that you are interested in being great, which you can be. Like 100% Josh Schuster can be great. So that's what I'd be looking at as a club. Like, has he gone off on his own to fix the things that need to be fixed?
Yep.
If that is the case, that's interesting and you'd be interested in getting him on board. If he's coming to you saying, oh, no, I was expecting to come on board and you would take care of that.
Yep.
I'd be like, mate, it has to come from you.
100%.
Has to come from you.
100%. Couldn't agree more. We wish him all the best.
100. Yeah, of course. Because at the end of the day, Schuster hasn't done anything wrong to anyone.
No, just underperformed.
Just underperformed. And as I said, he probably has had personal things go wrong in his life. So, yeah, hopefully he can bounce back because you always want to see a young fella fulfill his potential. There's nothing worse than bloody seeing that and all work out. Okay, Tigers v Manly. How you feeling about Manly? Because I'm feeling good, mate.
Mate, we're just flying under the radar.
You know what you're doing?
Just
Sounds
coasting.
Super obvious. You're just getting wins. You're getting dubs.
Mate, all we're doing is collecting 2 points every week. You know what I mean?
Nothing like too hectic, but at the same time, not bad either.
Just 2 points.
But I think that's an underrated trait. Like how many teams right now would kill just to be stacking the dubs up?
Seriously, that's not been done that often. You're right.
Like look at the Dolphins, for example, the Broncos, even the Cowboys have been up and down.
Yeah.
Like Manly at the moment, I think they've won 5 of their last 8.
Since Magic Round, they've won 10 from 13.
That's good.
That's a team addicted to 2 points.
Boom. And I think it's an underrated thing. We always talk about they've forgotten how to win or they've gotten used to losing, but you can also get used to winning. And I feel like Manly are kind of doing it. I think there's another stat as well. They haven't lost a single game by 10 points or more or something like that.
Really?
I'll check.
Along those
Sorry,
lines.
I got that wrong. It was 7 from 10, but I'll check that now.
Hectic.
So yeah, they're getting dubs. They're winning. Their run home is pretty good.
Yeah, we got I think Dogs next week and then Sharks. Maybe?
Winnable, both winnable. It's not like you're playing Panthers and you've beaten them.
So besides that ridiculous Origin game against South where no one played 14-0.
And they didn't select it.
And they didn't select Humphreys. The biggest loss was 10 points. And yeah, sorry, it wasn't 10 from 13. I got that wrong. It was 7 from the last 10.
Yeah, right. Still solid.
Yeah.
7 from 10 is great.
Still a side addicted to 2 points.
Yeah, absolutely.
Manly hump the Tigers. We just do.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
I think you got the hot hand right now. As I said, I think you are addicted to winning.
Tigers got their last win of the season last week, in my opinion, and I think we hump.
What about the spoon bowl potentially happening?
Give it to me.
We were thinking about doing some content around
I
the spoon
want
bowl.
it. Give it to me. We deserve a spoon bowl.
Yeah.
We deserve
We
one.
were thinking of I don't know, maybe a live show or something. Again, not confirming that we will do it, but maybe.
We deserve one. The people deserve a spoon bowl.
So good.
Could be one of the great Friday nights. You go
yeah.
You go spoon bowl into South Roosters.
So good. That's Friday night footy.
That is Friday night.
As it was intended.
Yep.
Yeah, I reckon Manly. Warriors versus Bulldogs, but remember, Warriors, SJ's last ever home game.
It's at Shaun Johnson Stadium.
Imagine getting a stadium named after you for just a day.
It's at Shaun Johnson Stadium, so New Zealand win. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Listen, I choose to be pro fairy tale.
You're pro vibe and yarn.
I'm pro fairy tale.
Okay.
And the
I
fairy
know
tale,
that don't always happen. I get that. I understand. But I am pro fairy tale.
and the fairy tale slightly extends to next week. His last ever game is going to be at Shark Park. He played for them for three or 4 years. So those are his last 2 games.
Wow.
Pretty good.
It's crazy to think we're never going to see SJ again. That's
Crazy, isn't it? Isn't it wild?
That sucks. Broncos versus Eels.
Bronx.
Please, come on, boys. Just get it done.
Dig deep.
Come on. Raiders versus Panthers.
Panthers.
Storm v Dolphins.
Storm.
Dolphins are $4.95. I wonder what the line is there.
It's like 7.5
Probably up
probably.
on a juicy line there.
Huge line.
Rabbitohs versus Knights.
Sure, the Knights. Doing it for O'Brien.
They're doing it for OB.
Have to, otherwise.
Oh, fuck.
15.5 for that Dolphins game.
I don't mind that. I like to throw in a line, like a big line,
Yeah.
and a couple of any timers. That's juicy for me.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I got a couple last week. I think it was like paying like $10 or something, and it was a line plus some mini timers, and it was hot stuff.
Good for you, bro.
Titans versus Roosters.
Chooks.
St. George versus Sharks. Where do you see the Sharks this year? Are they pretenders or are they a real deal?
Pretenders.
Pretenders?
Yeah, I think so.
What if they beat Manly?
Mate, week before finals, the spots are probably locked up. No one cares. I reckon there's a chance the Sharks go loss again for 30
Really?
in a row.
Oh, could you imagine?
Sorry, I think they're pretenders. I really do.
Wow.
Do you rate them?
I just think that I'm torn because I do think that there's a part of me that's like I want to see a bit more from them, but at the same time, like they're fucking in the top 4. I feel like they don't get the appreciation they deserve.
Yeah, because people think they're pretenders. Because for the last 2 years, they've finished up 4 on loss.
Yeah, but they were top 5 last year. I think they came 5th or 6th last year. But
Fifth last year, but they got beat week 1.
Okay.
Fifth or sixth.
but like it's not like their roster is a hectic roster.
No, it's not hectic, no.
And I just
They
think
punch
that-
above their weight. They do well.
I think they punch above their way. They're top 4. That's
I don't think anyone's scared of them in finals time. That's what I
And
mean.
like since Fitzy's come over, they've come 2nd, 5th, and most likely 4th. Like that's fucking mad.
Yeah, mate, solid. Really solid. They just don't scare anyone at finals time.
I think Dragons upset them here though.
Really?
I think there's a Flano.
I think Sharks have won the last 10, but Flano
he'll
it's
lose.
what's the Flano Cup?
It's the Flano Cup. He had some words to say. He literally said 2 days ago he doesn't know who's playing this week.
Oh, I know. Bullshit. Loved it, though. I'm like, Shane, that's genius.
That's genius. Because
I can't help but respect it.
We know, he knows, everyone knows you're lying, and that's part of the fun.
Mate, I respect the fuck out of it. I really did. Shout out to Shane.
All right, don't forget, guys, Monday, 6 p.m, the OG Bloke shirts, limited supply, limited edition spray jackets, OG spray jackets. Make sure to be there Monday, 6 p.m. Set your alarms. It's the best way to support the Bloke podcast. If you enjoy hours and hours of content, just grab one. It really helps the podcast. And also, the best way to support the boys is to grab some Good Day. As usual, we'll go and fuck ourselves. Thank you.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.